Okay, hello. So today I'm going to be talking about the book 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. This is the first book that I have read by Peter Swanson, and it was recommended to me by a couple different people, and I also saw that it was selected as a Barnes & Noble book club pick. So I was intrigued to check it out. This book is in some ways sort of an homage to the mystery genre. And I'll get into that a little bit more when I do talk about the plot. But it's very self-referential and very meta. And if you are a fan of mystery novels and the genre as a whole, then I think this is definitely one that you should be interested in and potentially reading. So first, I'll get into the plot. This book is about a man named Malcolm Kershaw. He is our narrator and our lead character here. And he loves mysteries. He's very passionate about the genre. He actually owns a mystery bookshop called Old Devils, where they sell crime and mystery novels. So he's sort of an expert on the subject. He is approached by a young FBI agent named Agent Mulvey, who has a new theory about a series of murders that have occurred in the area. She sees a connection between the suspicious nature of the deaths and a blog post that Malcolm wrote years ago called 8 Perfect Murders. And she has reason to believe that there might be a murderer who is trying to act out Malcolm's list and commit all of the fictional murders in real life. Malcolm is obviously really freaked out by this, but he is willing to help the FBI agent and try to offer all the information that he has. And as the story continues, we sort of follow Malcolm as he gets more and more caught up with these murders, and the murderer still being out there poses a problem for him as well. And we also learn a little bit more about his background, and he might know a little bit more about the murders than he originally lets on. So this is a really compelling book. I think even the plot synopsis alone is enough to make someone want to read this. I think it's a really clever idea. And there is a lot of focus on the 8 Perfect Murders themselves, which are all taken from different novels. I actually hadn't read most of them, so I didn't understand a lot of the references, but they do a good job of giving you enough background and sort of laying out all the information that you need to understand and appreciate the references. I think the one that I knew best was The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is one book that I have read, and there's quite a lot about that book in here. Okay, so first I want to talk a little bit about the pacing and the narrative here, and I want to get into what I did like and what I didn't like as much about this book. So first of all, I want to say that Peter Swanson has a gift when it comes to pacing and laying out a narrative in a compelling way. It's been a long time since I've read a book with short chapters like this that made me want to just keep reading. It was literally a page turner. I couldn't put it down, and I finished this book within 2 days. So those are all huge positives for me. I love anything that just kind of serves as like a distraction from the world. You can be fully invested in the book. You just keep reading. It's compelling, it's exciting, it's fast moving. I absolutely love books like that. And this definitely delivered when it comes to the pacing. Almost every chapter ends in some sort of cliffhanger or some sort of information bomb that lets you know that there's more going on than you thought there was, and you just have to turn to the next page and you're like, I might as well read one more chapter. They're short anyway. So it is so fun and so easy to read, and I absolutely love that about this book. I will say Peter Swanson is very talented at knowing when to include dialogue and when to move the scene along. I think too many books include too much detail, too much dialogue, and it's not compelling. You know, what's nice about the novel format is that you can pick and choose what to include. You know, you don't have to include every single line of dialogue in a scene if it's not necessary. And Peter Swanson understands that, and he includes just enough to keep you interested and make the story feel real, but it never weighs the story down. It moves along really quickly, and I absolutely love that about this book. The characters are really fun. I liked Malcolm Kershaw. He was interesting and mysterious, and you kind of feel bad for him. but I think people can also really relate to him in a lot of ways, especially if you do love literature. The character Malcolm here is a lover of literature as well. Yeah, the characters are fun, the setting is really fun. Who doesn't love a bookshop with like a quirky cat and like some interesting employees who run the store? So it's a very fun setting, and it really draws you into the story. It makes the story feel real. If I were to look for any critiques for this book or anything that I didn't love as much, really the only thing for me would be the suspension of disbelief. The story is very out there, and as you keep reading, there are a lot of aspects that feel less and less realistic, and a lot of crazy connections that might kind of take you out of the story a little bit. But this probably isn't the book that you would be looking for if you are looking for something really realistic. It's more sort of escapism, really just indulging in what people love who love mysteries. I didn't phrase that well, but for people who love mysteries, this is like an indulgence of everything that you love about the genre. So I will say it's not the most realistic. I don't think it is attempting to be really realistic, but that might be something to keep in mind, and maybe something that I didn't love quite as much. But that being said, this book is really clever, it's really fun, it's entertaining, it's an easy read. I think that it will appeal to people of all ages, because older people will enjoy all the more vintage references in this book, and I think younger people will like the fast-paced nature of it and the sort of accessible writing style. So I think this book has something for everyone. It is tailor-made for you if you really enjoy mysteries, so definitely don't miss out if you are a big mystery or crime fan. This is definitely one to read. It's super well written and super sharp. So I would have to give it a 9 out of 10 because I did enjoy it so much. I also love books like this that aren't overly ambitious necessarily, like books that understand their genre and don't try too hard to be extremely literary or groundbreaking, or they don't veer into pretentious territory. And I think this book is unpretentious. I think it's just accessible to so many people. So definitely read 8 Perfect Murders if you are looking for a fun and fast-paced new book. This is one that I'm just super excited about, and I'm happy to be talking about because I enjoyed it so much, and it kind of took me back to almost like my childhood years when I would just be reading a book at night and I couldn't put it down. So it was an awesome experience to read this book, and if you have read it and you enjoyed it like me, let me know what you think, or if you have any other thoughts on it, I would love to hear those as well. So thank you for watching.